Ready, go.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. 04.
Hey.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy
I'm glad we could
Tuesday.
reschedule. Also, I sent an invite for next week, so we have the same problem next week where we can't go on Monday, so let me know if that works. If not, I can find something else. Because we're at a different time, I don't think that this math ops is still happening, so we should just try to figure out if we can make that happen either after or later or next week. Because I do really want to, I think it would be good to like go to classes with everyone and like continue doing the like rubric score, norm debrief. Cool. All right, so let's talk about the win plan and the scorecard. I think I want to keep this part to try to do like 20-ish minutes, so that we have time to do all the other. We can talk about all the other things that we have. So hopefully.
Did you send us a link? Do we have the links, or just search them in the drive, right?
I sent it to you on Thursday.
Oh, great. I must have already looked at it.
Okay, but let's talk about the win plan. So, you guys had this PD on Friday. How did it go? What were the big takeaways?
I think the clear why teachers understanding why these timestamps and these moves are important. One, because kids, scholars need to practice, but then also, in order for us to be proficient in the next phase, you have to nail this timestamp, which I think is a clear bar for them to say, I am progressing this way for a reason, which helps the progression, I think.
How about you, Chelsea?
Yeah, I think it just unveiled. I think there's some misconceptions about how much kids should struggle, and the idea that like kids should struggle needlessly. And I think it helps people understand, oh, like I really need to hunt with purpose. Like I need to hunt, I need to prep a kid to share out so that I'm not wasting a bunch of time leading a silly discussion. And I've seen in the 3 observations I've seen so far this week, 2 observations I've seen so far this week, people really being thoughtful about the hunting and prepping kids to share out, which is good.
I think the action step was very clear, the model was very clear. We gave them a lot of practice. I also think every PD that like is led moving forward, I really want you guys to have eyes on it, because I also thought like the quality of your supporting people in the moment was probably some of the highest that I've seen in school PD.
I'm working
Yeah,
on
there was just a
work-
lot of misconceptions. There was
Yeah.
a lot of misconceptions.
And it seemed as though teachers walked away with those clarified.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like you've already seen evidence of that, which is awesome. And there was also the thing that I think you had named that you were worried about, like last year when the timestamps were super tight, but the kids weren't like actually like learning
Yeah.
anything. Do you think that was?
I think it's good. I think it's a late. I think just by simply adding the thing of like, let me show you how a kid did it last year, turn and talk about how it represents. I think that's the thing that needs to happen,
Got it.
which I don't think happened last year. So.
Okay, so we feel good. We feel good about this PD that happened last week, leading into our observations today. Hopefully, we'll see some higher scores on rubrics then.
And I should name that when then, like I think I've seen this with your models, and then as you do video or other observations, in the follow-up email that goes to teachers, I would like to see named whether or not they are executing on the action step from PD. The teachers should
Well,
go.
the one you just sent, I think it was to
Okay.
Ned.
Yeah, and so I think like that is the like, so yes, we want rubric feedback. The overarching message that I want teachers to explicitly get from you, and I want all of us included on that email is, hey, like you effectively did the action step from PD. If anyone doesn't effectively do the action step from PD, I would like them to have a follow-up meeting, because whatever, like we're gonna spend time doing it on Friday, I think people should actually do it.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Awesome. Okay, so then that ties into the IPP meetings that are happening.
When do we capture next steps? Or do we not? And if we don't, can I make one box that captures next steps?
All right, down here at the bottom. Oh wait, we have Justin and Dixie. Never mind. Yep, at the bottom right-hand corner. Next steps for everyone. Right?
Yeah, but
Is that on tomorrow's agenda?
no, this is we can do
Okay.
next steps. Yeah,
Great.
this like next steps for click on my circle.
You click on her circle, those are to where she is.
Really?
Yeah. know. It's the best thing, right? Okay,
Yes,
what is
there's
it?
more things I wanna say, but we're on video, so, alright,
What's the next step that you're typing in? Follow up on, the
Dixie
action
Control
step?
C, give explicit feedback to all teachers, whether or not they have implemented Friday's action step. If they didn't, follow up with warning meeting.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay, IPP meetings this week. I didn't go to yours yesterday. I was at one this morning, but it was UU. But the plan was to have an exemplar created and hunt and call on these exemplars. What are our thoughts on this happening this week, or status of things happening next week?
It did not, I haven't had an IPP this week because I have 2 unit unpackings, but I should have scheduled them differently. However, in the PD, it was named that they need to do the exemplar for the Pop Mother Day. Yeah, and be hunting from their exemplar, so that was.
And
named
you
in the
had
PD.
given lesson plan feedback on that specific thing.
Yes.
Third grade, we did it, it was a good opportunity for us to fix their exemplars, cause they don't have enough labels in their exemplars, and then we did Tuesday's lesson, cause we did Monday's lesson on Friday, so. Specifically emphasizing, what do you do if no one shows up? Chart it, turn and talk, pull out the key point.
Can I wanna clarify 2 things. When unit unpackings happen, are IPPs also supposed to happen?
Yeah, I'm supposed to schedule a UPP time outside of the IPP block. I asked Justin this morning. When I
Okay.
looked
That's
at
what
your
I've been
feed-
doing.
When I looked at your feedback.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I've written that same question
Yeah.
in the feedback. I was like, I'm not sure. So does that mean that kinder and fourth will not have an IPP this week?
What y'all think about their blocks?
Flip that, I feel like you're the only one.
Dixon's?
Do you wanna go?
I think you should be able to flip it. Just so we
now
can
that
s-
it's recording?
Yeah,
Okay,
and it should seem.
great.
Nope, that didn't help at all. Okay.
No.
Hi, Amanda.
Justin, okay.
Well, at least we
And
can
now we
get
can see
kind of
3
you,
people.
at least
Yeah.
3 people in there, yeah.
I
Okay.
have to think about 4th grades. Kinders, I'm not concerned about because the lesson that they teach on Friday is the first lesson of the next unit, and they did that lesson on Friday because it was part of their IPP for the week.
So you practice with them on Friday?
Yeah, well, parts of the action stuff in it.
Yeah,
But
so-
all of them weren't there.
I think it's important that kinder has IPPs this week, that 4th grade has IPPs this week. Because we said like, number one, we named it for all staff that we would have IPPs on a weekly basis. We know that it's the expectation that we do units and IPPs, and it means that for kindergarten, where literally half the staff was absent on Friday, there isn't an immediate touch point around following up on learnings from PD. So I don't think the question is if it should happen, the question is what are the next steps so that both of those can happen.
I have to figure that part out in the scheduling, cause then their old threes are doing the same time as their playing plans are together. And then 4th grades is the same. I'm covering tomorrow for science for 2 blocks. And then on Thursday, both Brown and Taylor have both threes doing that same time. So I guess now it's, do I prioritize the IPP over their individual on threes?
Your IPPs are gonna happen regardless on Friday. Wouldn't
No, the
you?
unit unpacking is scheduled for Friday. That's what I scheduled. So then I need to find a different time to have their IPP, and that's what I'm saying. Today is Tuesday, their specials time, they have their whole threes for the rest of the week, so I'm saying now, am I doing the IPP instead of their individual whole threes?
Yes, I think you should combine Tucker and Woods and meet with everyone. on
This is
Wednesday.
Robinson and Woods.
I would add Tucker to the mix. I think you should have the IPPs with kinder on Wednesday, and then 4th grade, think something similar, I don't know what that is, I don't know if that means Brown and Malachi meet together for a similar action step connected to the PD that they had on Friday as well.
Okay.
I think that's the solution. So Dixie, fair to say that we would keep IPPs the times they are, and we would schedule a unit unpackings at a separate time? Okay, cool.
Got it. Okay, so that means that the IPVs the IPV meetings that are happening this week will have these exemplars and hunting for that. Awesome. And then for coaching, we said that we were going to maximize the math cleanup, prioritize teachers below 70%, and coach around kids listening to kids, partner work, and turn-in talks. And also have morning meetings as needed for teachers off pace. What is the status of this one? How are we feeling about it? Are there any things that we need to talk through to make sure that it happens?
The only teacher that I have that doesn't meet that rubric is Dixon. So I've been in her space.
All day yesterday?
Yeah. Them
So
talking to
kinder
kids
teachers
and
are meeting the rubric now?
for Maximize the Math,
For
theirs
Maximize the Math.
is the game intro part that they chose for to them. But
Got it.
Maximize the Math is never their problem. They enjoy talking to each other.
It's just like, it's a tricky piece. What I'm finding right now is like, right, like you're saying the average is like 73%, which is like what? Like the
Oh,
difference
are you
between
looking at
73
it
and,
right
the difference between 73 and
Where
like
you-
85 is like
just
what,
click
2
your name.
kids? So it's that tricky thing where I don't know necessarily that a PD needs to happen. It just I don't know. It's that, yeah, it's like I don't know what needs to happen to literally just get it to the 85%. I don't think it needs to be like a huge morning session because they all are capable of it. Like I've seen it at 100%, and on the typical day I'm seeing it at 70%. You know what I mean? Like there's just 30% of kids that for whatever reason teachers aren't either taking the extra time to prompt, unless someone's there, right? Wait till everyone has it. So I don't know. I think we probably should think of what's the way to align some.
Go ahead. We're gonna have to reschedule our O3. I figure like at the front, and then there's an academic meeting for like our reschedule. I'll just kind of touch base with you later this week.
Perfect.
So I don't know. I wonder if we just need to start naming. Maybe we should just use Friday as an opportunity to name, like, listen, these are the expectation should be that like you are hitting 85%. You know what I mean? Like, I almost wonder if we just need to more clearly name, like, hey, we literally are looking for 85%. My thing is, I don't think there's any teaching or coaching that needs to happen with it. I think teacher just needs to demand it. And I think the only way we can really get them there right now is to let them know, like, listen, this is the goal. We're going to be like.
Do you have like specific teachers that are not demanding it that come to mind that you could just like, because my worry is if you wait till Friday, that's a whole nother week that they're not doing it, and that feels
It's
too
just the
late.
course of a conversation, right? It's like you're potentially calling on kids over the course of 2 minutes. You're calling on 6 kids, and I don't know. Part of me also does feel it's a little bit silly. 6 different times to say, wait, let me get all the way to 100%. Like it just doesn't feel natural. You know what I mean? Like that's the things that I'm seeing when I'm looking across. I'm like, okay, these 5 kids in the front, they weren't prompted to turn around. She missed it, but it was a 10-second share. Now we're back into the lesson. Okay, now we got these 6 kids over here who aren't being prompted to share. And so that's where I think it's coming out. And I don't know what, like they all, like if I told them, oh, like I've done it before, oh, we have some friends in the front who are missing it. The teacher's either not looking at them because they're tracking the teacher, they're tracking the speaker, or they're in the corner. I don't know what the right mechanism is to do it, because I could have them in a PD, but I don't think that's going to guarantee that they do it anymore. I think the only thing I would say right now is if I asked the teacher what percentage of kids should be mastering the math at this point, none of them would be able to tell you. That'd be my answer. So I think we should just
I agree with that last piece. I think I disagree with most of the other pieces. I think the purpose of having a morning meeting, or like, the less teachers do it, the less they'll then continue to do it. So like, yes, we need to state the goal. By the way, you like part of scoring we view it as like a real problem if we're below 70% on Maximize the Math Habits. That means that we should see, as a reminder, here's what that means. Like I'm happy to share that. But I do think like then if teachers aren't doing it, if anything for no other reason than the opportunity to go, hey, if I'm having a sit down meeting with the teacher to follow up on something like that, I'm saying, what is the expectation? What should you see? Make sure that they can actually name the expectations from the rubric. Given that, what are the key moves at your disposal to get that expectation met? Make sure they can name all the different pieces we've talked about in the student culture meeting. What is preventing you from consistently meeting this expectation? Listen to whatever, because like you just gave an explanation for why someone might not meet it. I disagree with the explanation because I actually think like when teachers start getting into that, like I personally have not observed a teacher who I think like is so solid with math habits, like they're making good intentional decisions around like moving on without a couple of kids
I
tracking.
think Meg is the one who's sweating it too much. I think it's killing the pace of the lesson, not killing it, but I think it's negatively hurting the pace of the lesson. And is actually inserting negativity into a room that overwhelmingly is like, so.
But
I mean,
is she one of the ones who's below 70%?
No, she's doing fine, but I'm saying like that same
timestamp is
impulse is
not-
pushing it. I mean, I'm
Is she
happy to
getting
do
the
whatever, I don't know that it's the key though, but.
So my worry is that if we're hanging out at 70%, when we get back from Thanksgiving break and we have to have like the ratio of discussion favor the students, like student talk, it's unbalanced, like students are doing more of the talking than the teachers. Like if we are at 70% and trying to push for that much discussion, like it will likely be unproductive conversation and like a waste of time. So that's my worry.
You
With-
mean to the whole group or to each other?
So-
The discussion with the partner work discussion or the whole group discussion?
You mean the whole group?
The whole group,
Okay.
yeah, so if like kids are not listening to kids consistently, when it's just like one kid sharing out one thing, I don't think that would happen if it's like, if we're trying to have like a large group discussion, I think 70% will kill.
I think
that
it's
goal.
definitely a gap. I think the thing I wanna figure out is how big of a priority is it, and then what's the tool that we use to fix it. I think if it's what you shared, Chip, and I don't think that's tough. I think that we can start every meeting and just share it. Very rarely haven't been able to say like, whoa, look at the maximize the math. Either it's on fire or there's some other huge like lesson gap that's been in the way, so I haven't been hitting it, so I can add it to the O3s to start in that way. Like very rarely am I saying, hey, let's
Yeah.
talk through the observation feedback, let's start with the maximize the math. Like I haven't been doing that, which I can do better. I just
Yeah,
haven't been thinking
I
about it because it's
explained
usually
it.
some huge thing that happened.
I explained it because it was part of the rubric. But I haven't framed it as like, what it, like, I haven't had a conversation that Jacob has had around, can you name these things, or like,
Yeah.
well, yeah. But I haven't seen an urgency around, this is the reason why this is not going well.
But I think
I think part of what's happening though is like, so you said the piece around like, I'm not sure if it's a key lever. We're not sure if anything is a key lever. What we're doing is like, we're working with a program that we have every reason to believe has a ton more experience and expertise than us to preempt things that are about to happen. So the feedback we got last Monday was, hey, you guys are off track because this next phase is gonna involve a lot of scholar discourse. And like when you have such low levels of like scholars engaging in partner work or tracking the speaker, being able to repeat what scholars said, then that's going to negatively impact our ability to engage in the next phase. So I think we do know enough to know that it's a key lever. I agree that it's not you probably don't need to restructure a whole bunch of things around it. I would propose that as the action steps that we take to explicitly name for teachers, the goal is, what's the goal?
85%.
which is 22 out of 25 kids.
That the goal is that 85% of scholars are engaging in the maximized math, and that means working with partners, tracking the speaker, what am I missing?
Right, so we're gonna talk about turn and talk and listening, the kids listening to kids.
So I think it starts with naming that expectation.
Right.
And then as part of like the feedback that we're giving teachers, saying, in particular for maximize the math, hey, you're doing it, your kids are situated to you're situated to be able to grow for phase 2, or your kids aren't doing it. Maybe it's not even a maybe it's literally you're not doing it. Write back to me to share what does an 85% mean in your class, i.e. how many kids, what are the key moves you have at your disposal, what's holding you back from meeting that expectation right now.
I mean,
That's what I would propose, because I think that is
Yeah,
something that we can check.
I think it's fine. I think the one thing I would say for Fridays, I think it's a good opportunity to ground it in the why. Why is it important that kids talk to each other beyond the fact that like humans do it? Because they need to be able to respond to each other. Like they need to be able to respond to each other. The
Yeah.
next part of the focus of phase 2, like it's an awesome opportunity to introduce.
Yeah.
The next part is the discussion, which means that's why we should have mastered it by now.
Yeah.
If not, it's a big deal. And I think we should also, I should capture or share out some of the video from Megs, who again has been the strongest, to say like, what do you notice with the quality of the discussion as a result of the, or like her work. I could grab her work one day, because her kids have the neatest work, right? Like, how does this facilitate more meaningful discussion or something? I think we can just like,
Yeah, so
ground
I'm
it
literally
in those
working on
thoughts.
the PD right now, and that's definitely something I can use to, and I you all as well.
Maybe I'll forward you the video, does that work?
Yes, that does.
So
Okay.
explain percentages for maximize the math, and then the team will explicitly name to teachers whether or not they are meeting the criteria, and request email, written follow-up if they don't. Is that fair?
Yes.
I would be thinking
Who's
email.
responding, email, the teacher?
Yeah.
And this is
Like,
just for
and like-
people who don't get an 85.
Yeah.
In each block, in each area. Is it 85 total or 85 each block?
I think it's each area, right?
It's each area.
Oh, sorry, like in the observation, you have to have 85% of kids turning and talking, 85% of kids working
Right.
working independently and then partner work?
No, it's kids listening to
Turn and
kids.
talk, kids listen.
Which I think the biggest, like a lot of kids track, but I think the thing that I've seen not a lot of is kids listening where the kid is tracking the other kids and talking to the class instead of the
Mhm.
teacher. But yeah, so kids listening to kids, turn and talk, and partner work are the three areas of maximize the math that all separately need to be 85%. So it could be that like partner work is on point, but when they turn and talk, they're just like talking about their weekends or something not very effective, or like they don't have partners. So it could be the case where it's like, hey, these two areas are great. Like, what did you do to push for these? This area not meeting the bar. What can you do?
Yeah, sounds good. One quick thing, for
Wait,
game,
you got, that sounds good to you as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
for, what do you recommend for, just to clarify for teachers, when teachers are charting strategies, a kid is sharing and the teacher is charting, should they be tracking the kid or tracking the chart?
Okay, you
So-
fine to go, you feel okay?
Miss Dixie, tell us what you do with your blocks.
James, do you feel okay?
Who do you wanna chart? Who would make the most sense?
He's fine to go, he's doing
I would say the chart.
Right, that's why
Yeah, I would say
yeah,
the chart
that's
too.
why
I was just trying, cause like the kid shares and then they write, and then, yeah.
But I've always taught people
No,
just
they
write
write
as
as the
they
kids,
talk,
yeah.
because
Okay,
otherwise
yeah,
it's a
great.
waste of time.
Yeah, yeah,
We're going to.
I think it just helps
going
us
to
down
back
to
on
track the chart.
Okay,
And the
so
kids
I'll
are
make
looking
it
at the
yeah.
chart,
And then I'll make sure that he gets.
Because that's where the
Great,
strategy
So
is actually.
James, go.
So when is the kid listening to the
Yes.
kid?
You can just get line, you get
I know, that's what I'm trying to figure out, those moments in the
Yeah.
lesson where you want to hear, where you want to look at the kid rather than what's being charted.
Right.
So I could see if you're asking a kid to revoice something, right, you would look at
Yes.
them. If you're having an agree or disagree conversation, you would, like if you're having the guided discourse and you agree or disagree on why you track. Maybe if you're asking kids to retell in the game intro lessons, like retell using your representation, I can see it.
Okay.
Alright, that's just helpful, because I wanna make sure that people are like
Yeah.
asking kids to do the natural
Yep.
thing, you know?
Okay, okay, so we've covered everything in this week's win plan. For next week, the only thing that I just mentioned was that we have the regional PD this Friday, so it's actually like technically this week, but we wouldn't see the impacts of it until next week. So I am literally working on it now, I'm happy to share it with you, and I really enjoyed our conversation about the PD you guys did on Friday. Hi.
What the hell?
It's an 05!
Yay!
I'm not a part.
You are.
You're on video.
Hello, Amanda.
I don't know who. Oh, Amanda, hey, Amanda.
Okay.
He doesn't know who you are.
No, sorry, I didn't put that together.
Right.
He doesn't value you.
Let's
as-
not, stop playing.
Okay, bring it back. So I'll share the regional PD with you all, we can talk through it, and we can see if there's anything I need to add to more closely tie together the pieces we just talked about around maximize the math and what phase 2 is. I think that for the sake of time, we can talk about these remaining, yeah,
I was gonna say, oh, perfect, we're gonna talk about those. I was gonna say, I think one thing, I think we already hit worm calling as a part of the PD for last week. So I don't know that that needs to be the focus for IPP meetings. I think the other thing that we talked about is specifically in, really,
Where's-
case, sorry.
What am I looking right now?
Sorry.
Win plan.
Oh wait, a week of
Circle.
11-4, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that this week?
That's this week though. I guess we meet next week,
Oh.
right? Cause then, yeah, then the IPP meetings, well, the only thing I was gonna say is we talked about next week using the IPP meetings to do an analysis of to do a best practice share out of the math analysis, so that by the time the teachers get to the Friday PD, they can more effectively fill out the math analysis, since that was such a gap. Do you guys remember we talked about that? We said
Oh,
like, show
yeah.
an exemplar math analysis.
So then, would that
data
mean
bank.
that IPP meeting can happen next week, or
I think
it would
we-
just be like a portion of the
Or it'd be a
meeting?
portion, I would probably
Okay.
recommend.
yeah.
I've been getting into practice pretty quickly, so I feel like
Yeah.
I could take the first 10 or 15 minutes to.
Okay.
If they have come with their example
Yeah,
already, you're
that
really
makes
ready to
sense.
practice pretty
And I don't know if
immediately.
you looked at the templates, but I did try to be more proactive around like making sure teachers know what to do. Like I put little yellow rows in with an exemplar of what goes there.
Great.
So hopefully that will
I saw
help.
that, it's
Okay, that's helpful, so that we can talk.
We already talked on 11.4, like this is.
Yeah, but I guess what I mean is, I think it'd be helpful to look to next week.
So this should
So-
say,
That's, I don't know if we should
But I-
change
I
the.
saw-
10/28 should be 11/4.
Well, I think that we somehow got off, which like we should have. What we ended up talking about is like,
Oh, yeah, maybe we
did
do
this
again.
happen, or did the
Yeah, so everything, so to Jacob's point, yeah, he's right. Everything that you listed is accurate for that week. We are practicing warm calling and revoicing as a part of our
Okay.
PD focus. So really, I guess it would just be looking to next week.
okay?
Looking to next
So do you
week.
want me to get that in here? Here, I can get it right now.
Maybe that, yeah, I think that would just be
Yeah.
helpful.
And
my
coaching, the PD objectives is what they just got the PD on,
Yes,
right?
which is what we
That I'm
already
giving
discussed.
feedback on, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
11, got it. So
I
we
also-
have,
And this means then that we are actually further off track from Maximize the Math than we thought.
yeah. Okay.
Wait, why are we off track?
Because that's something that we should have been talking about last week. So I think it's very urgent for that to be part of Rockville's PD and then for us to follow up. next
Okay,
week.
there it is.
So meanwhile,
I don't know why I
Are
thought
you
it
saying
was.
we off track or our teachers are off track?
We are
What do
all
we
at
mean?
Elect on track, everybody on track.
everyone's on track
Okay.
in that one area.
Okay, cause the goal is that 85% of our teachers are getting that 85% right.
In all three of those categories, every single time. Yes.
So 100%, 85%, or 85%, 85%?
85% kids listening to kids. 85%, 100%.
Yeah, 100% of teachers.
Right.
That's what I mean.
100% of teachers.
But only
Yeah,
You were not
85%.
even on the
That's
invite.
what she asked.
Right, I'm trying to get clear.
Chris, it's only 85% of the 100 though.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think
What?
one note for Amanda that I think we should do is, I think we should start to, similar to in the rubric, it specifically states if you're not on pace, you can't get a 3.
Yes.
I think we need to start putting that for Math and Maximize Math, right? Like, if you don't have
Oh.
85% tracking, you can't get a 3 because the kids just aren't with you or something. Like,
Is
I
that
think that would
true every
actually,
late?
because I
It
think that's
hasn't-
helping me to say you're not at a 3 because of pacing, it has to be fixed. I think it would be
Yeah.
helpful to have that back pocket.
Okay,
But
that's
you
that-
can't get a 2?
If,
You can't, I don't know, I haven't
Can
been
you get
using.
a 2 with not 3 categories of 85%?
yes, we have before,
Yeah.
but we even did that on our first site visit. But I do think that's a valid point. Like, is there like a tipping point where like,
Yeah.
okay, now that we've been doing this for 3 weeks, you know the flow. At this point, you can no longer get a 2 unless your Maximize the Math is like hitting these benchmarks.
I think it'd
Which
be
I think that we
helpful just
actually
to-
happen at that threshold, because if you think back to the first site visit, I scaffolded everything back, right? I was
Right.
like, by this week we need to have 60%.
Yes.
By this week we need to have this, so I feel like we've
Agreed.
probably arrived to that point where like if they're not doing it, then like, that's your, which would be the end to give them the feedback you were just talking about.
Okay.
Okay,
Now, just since we're on the math part, seeing them once a week doing the feedback, that will give us the ratio we need that they scores increase?
Yeah, it's whatever you observe. Don't you-
Okay.
You're talking about averages, is that what you're talking about? Like averages over time?
Right. So when you said that they have to have 85% each time,
yeah, well, the idea is that they get 85 and they maintain 85,
okay, yeah, okay.
yeah. Which I don't think has
So
always
the
been the case,
average
but.
for Woods like still is low because she
It's somewhere
nails 3
between 80 and
observations in a
85.
row. Yeah, we're worried about the most recent things that happen.
And
Okay.
when I roll up the data, I look at what the school's average is for the week, not historic, like I don't average them out, it's just like, what did we do this week?
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Can I add one last note?
yes.
So one,
I'm sure it's not the last.
I know. You're just
In
doing
addition to
hypothetical
those-
question of
Yeah.
me, that's for 9
Don't
years.
sue him.
one thing that I've
Is teaching math the right way to drive results in math?
One thing I did with Setley and Willems, because I saw it as an example in Willems, is if you know in the exercise-based lessons, there's the pathway where more than 2/3 and less than 2/3. In the pathway for less than 2/3, there's a section that says, it oftentimes says, show call one that's correct, show call one that's incorrect, have a guided discourse. The problem that I think a lot of our classrooms are running into is there's not one to show call that's correct. And so they're trying to do a guided discourse without a correct example, which just leads to 15 minutes of bad discussion, right? So like, it might be something either just to clarify for everyone, like I clarified with Sally, like, no, you just literally put it up on the board, turn and talk, how does that represent the strategy, how does
Yes.
it represent the story, move on. Cause I think that they were confused about that, they're trying to follow the strategy and follow the pathway, but they're not, sometimes our kids just aren't, none of them. They just have to like,
their
get
example
them.
from what they find in the lesson.
Say it again.
They can use the exemplar, the teacher exemplar.
No, they can't, that's essentially what
That's
they're
what
doing,
you're saying.
that's, they
Yeah.
just need to chart it and show them, yeah.
Okay.
But they're trying to lead a
Wait,
discussion.
so was that a
on-
question or?
No, I'm just saying as a note, either that could be a PD topic for like,
Oh.
next week, it could be an IPP focus, or it might be something that you just quickly hit in Friday's PD, because I imagine that other teachers are struggling with that across the board.
Okay,
So just something to think about.
I'll keep it on my radar, because I do think that this, and I've like communicated that with literally all coaches around like, we just can't have this like guided / discourse where you're just telling kids what to do, like that can no longer exist. So I feel like I've been doing that with teachers or with coaches when I walk classrooms and we see it, we like kind of have that
Yeah.
discussion. So I'll keep it on the radar, but I think that if it doesn't, yes,
Okay.
I can try to work it in.
Alright, well, it doesn't have to be acted upon.
Well, I
it's just
think it like
something
it
to know.
fits, right? Because everything's about like eliciting key points, and like that's one of the ways in which we are not being effective in eliciting key points is we're just like telling kids what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, alright, cool. Okay, scorecard. Here it is. Have we all gotten a chance to look it over? I
Yes,
sent-
but is some of this updated, is some of this newer now?
Oh, the picture is not, but the actual, sorry, because of my,
Oh, got it, okay, so I'm looking at the
so
actual.
I can put the new picture
Okay,
in.
good, yeah, that makes
Sorry.
sense. I got it.
Okay, so to start off, like 81% of teachers observed. I know that's below, so what happened?
Wait, it's 87.5.
It says 81%.
I think you gotta click the link, because the sheet's updated, she's not sure.
What am I doing?
What link?
Sorry, maybe there is no link. Is there a scorecard there? Never mind.
Well, I sent the scorecard
I
separately.
found the secret.
Yeah,
Tell me where I'm looking right now.
Here it is, and then I will link it. Justin, you're already in it. Way to go.
What have you linked?
Okay.
the observation
Just look
tracker.
at the picture.
The picture's updated. What happened was I sent it on Thursday, and then more things happened, and I updated it.
Sorry, Dixie.
And then I also, yeah, I had to update Justin's feedback that he did in fact give.
Okay, so let's.
Wait, did you get mine too? Yes, cause that's why we green.
So I wanted.
Hey, Chelsea, I helped this time.
Okay, great. So we're, at first we were worried that we weren't green, then we are green. So I just want to know. I think like one thing that we are missing is just like a clear, like we need to know, Ms. Ruffle, when do you check so that we know that late is after you check?
So, you guys agreed to IPP feedback by end of day Friday, so I'm
Yes.
updating that end of day Friday.
Yeah.
Also, so that, so Thursday, ideally most, if not all observations should be done, because most people have reteach lessons on Friday / quizzes, so it's like not even a time to observe.
And she will email me and say, it's Thursday.
Yeah,
This
so,
is where we are.
so today on Thursday, last week on Thursday, I emailed everyone this scorecard and said, if there are more observations, aka the video you took on Thursday that you haven't watched yet, I will update it on Friday. I literally don't care about that, I'm happy to do it.
We don't need that as a recurring routine. We all know how, like everyone knows how many they've done, right? What like my.
So on Thursday, I will send out the scorecard.
Okay.
She's
On Friday,
assuming
I will
the
update the
best.
scorecard with the IPP feedback, because that's what you all agreed to have it done by Friday, end of day. After Friday, I will no longer update it.
Okay, so that means that all teachers need to have IPP feedback and observations tracked in by end of day Friday, is that correct?
Correct.
Great, and then, I think we also just should clarify then pieces around like when feedback happens connected to videos and connected to in-person observations. The rule of thumb that I think would be appropriate would be, if I'm observing you in person, you've received an email from me within 2 hours, because ideally we're actually writing it as we observe. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I mean, if something else comes up crazy, I definitely send them at the end of the day, the next time I can sit down. Because sometimes there are some, like, I have to think about what's the action step, like, what do I really want to see happen here, so, but.
So in-person observation, you get email feedback by end of day.
I can
I'm
definitely
good with that, okay. And then, can you write this?
Yes.
As he write it in his flexi.
Okay, so,
Whatever.
internal observations would be by end of day, and then video would be,
I feel like video would be within 24 hours. I worry about, I think like the nice thing about video, of course, is like you can do it whenever, but I worry, like I was thinking to myself, would it be acceptable if someone turned in a video on Monday? There's feedback that would immediately make them better, and they're getting that feedback by end of day Friday. And I think that's actually not okay. So is it fair for video feedback to be given within 24 hours of receiving the video?
I can't every day except for this week because I literally like 7 people took videos yesterday, so I just had my weekend. Because
And
this week is a short week,
And
because
today and this week.
IAs would be-
but it definitely normally it would do.
So moving forward, I totally understand this week.
I'm agreeing with whatever Justin agreed with because he got his logistical life better. So, whatever, I would stick to Justin's face, what I'm supposed to be doing today.
Okay,
Awesome.
great. I captured it. Okay, so now that we've got that done, you guys have looked at the scorecard, I sent it to you, the link, and now it's also the correct picture in here. I asked you both to reflect on a few questions, would love for anyone to jump in.
You want us to type these here or just?
No,
say
just
them out?
share.
Okay.
I'll type, don't worry.
Leader scoring a 2, what do we need to get everyone to score a 2 on the IPP rubric?
What's the IPP one, the one that you scored with
Yeah,
us?
that's the one that we talked about, where you just have to use the, and you were going to just like create the.
Yes, and share it with you to get
Yes,
feedback.
which we could do on Friday with Kinder, right?
No, theirs is gonna be Thursday, so I need to do it and send it to you tomorrow so that you can give me the feedback before I leave it on Thursday, right? Got it.
Got it.
Okay, what are you most proud of? What's most concerning? What are you gonna do?
What am I most proud of? The submitted teacher IDP on that.
I'm also proud of that. And the IPP's got feedback. I think it's a testimonial to, I don't know. Yeah. Did you see the video that Kyle sent, by the way?
I saw when I was with you.
There's a video of me trying to accept yes for Raffles 03. It's saying you've accepted yes, and then it immediately going back to not accept it.
I don't know what that means. You know what that is?
It's because I got the email that Jacob accepted, and I was like, nope.
Did not.
Okay,
She's
so
just waiting for it. That's what I love.
I just stare at the computer and wait for your yeses to come through so I can. Okay, anyway, so Jacob, you were saying you are most proud of the IPP. It shows what?
I think it just shows that like when all of us get together and go, what is going to be true? How do we make sure it's true? Communicate to, be clear on why for ourselves. Articulate that why to the staff. I think it makes all of us more accountable to one another. So I do think like the teachers were thinking to themselves, oh man, like my coach has said they're going to do this, and therefore everyone feels like it's a reciprocal process where everyone needs to do their part.
Okay.
Do we get to do one room?
We can.
Okay.
Justin, do you want to share what you're most proud of first, and then we can go to the other, we'll do a whip around that way?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm just proud that 100% of teachers got or 100% of teachers, did they not get observed?
Less than 5
They got observed, but I didn't give the video feedback in time.
Oh, right, okay, well, at least 100% of teachers got observed and got feedback, 100% submitted their IPP. I think it just like goes to the legitimacy of we're asking them to do something, like take a video or actually do IPP, and we should be doing something with it. So I think what's good about that is that I think we finally got our lives together to be able to make that happen consistent. I'm trying to push myself just to have it done by Wednesday, so that Thursday can continue to be like a flex day.
Wait, what we trying to do by Wednesday?
Because I just try to have them all done by Wednesday, so that Thursday
Which,
can be
what,
an
the
emergency.
observation?
The observation.
Praise the
yes,
Lord,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, the IPP I do. And the feedback so far has been implemented, which is good.
Yeah, I think for me too, I agree with what you're saying, like I think that like, I'm super jazzed to have this level of data to look at. And it like, another thing that I thought was really awesome is that like we have the most observations we've had all year and our maximized the math, although not where we need it to be, it didn't like drop dramatically. When we were going from a small sample size to a large sample size, it still remained about where it was.
Big picture then, if we're getting the same sort of results from 5 observations as we're getting with 16, should we actually do all 16 observations?
Yes.
Sorry, that was just me. I'm trying to do a caricatured impression of Schulze when he's at his like high level
Okay,
philosophy.
that's not funny. That's not funny. We're all like, yes, we're finally doing. We've got our lives together. And Jacob throws a wrench in it,
I'm
no.
not listening to Justin.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind that part and stop the video now. Okay.
Hashtag wisdom wins the data.
That's
Jeremy wins again.
Observations move through that. Okay. Got it. So we've talked about what we're most proud of.
Most
Now,
concerning.
most concerning.
Well, my most concerning is the 90% of teachers strongly agree with the critical investment belief system. One, how do you get that without 100% of teachers filling it out? And then how can we say you must fill this out? Like 100% of our teachers did not fill it out, which makes the sample size
Two.
March.
Two teachers did not fill it out.
Wonderful. So how do we make?
Well,
The lead teacher. If that's all
Yeah.
the lead teacher.
I don't know who they are because it's anonymous, because I want them to be honest with their feedback, so I don't make them tag their names with their grades. Because I feel like we might not be able, we might not be able to get the same level of like open comments if they have their name tagged to it. Like I feel like some people may not have given us the feedback they did, if,
Sure.
yeah. So, what I did this time to get the people to submit who did was I emailed them on Monday with a reward for the grade levels who finished it first. Then I emailed them again on Tuesday and I lied to them all and said, you're so close, your grade level's almost winning.
Right.
And that got more in, and then on Thursday, I emailed teachers again, and I tried to narrow it down, because like some people put their grades in, so if I knew grade levels or people had submitted, I didn't send it to them. So I think, long story short, this time I did a ton of stuff to try to get people to do it, still did not come anywhere near 100%.
Right.
So I think in theory,
Buying them, so we.
I know. So I think which I still owe second grade, but I think what we need to do is like say this is the day the survey is coming out. This is the time you are taking it. Don't leave the room until you take it.
I think that's appropriate. When is the next time it's given?
I actually don't know. It would probably be the start of phase 2, so probably right after Thanksgiving break.
Oh,
But I
so
can
this
double check.
happens before we get a site visit?
So there's certain points throughout each phase. So it's like the beginning of the phase and the middle of the phase.
Okay.
I think those are the only ones. I don't think there's an end of phase. I'll ask you later, Amanda.
Okay.
I wrote that down for next.
But yeah, I think some of the feedback survey was definitely alarming too, and I think part of my presentation was like, this is what you all said, and like, here's what we did because of it. Like, thank you for your feedback, which I hope will help them give more feedback later too.
And the goal is that nobody's score is neutral.
Well, it's like 90%, so that would be like one teacher says neutral or less. The goal is that 90% of teachers agree or strongly agree with those 4 critical beliefs.
Okay.
In my mind, I'll name, I am not concerned about that data point because I'm shocked that it is as high as it is, given how we hadn't helped, how we weren't giving feedback on individual IPPs, weren't making the connection between individual IPPs and group IPPs, and did not have sufficient observation data for any teacher. As a result, it's the same, it's like, remember in PD when I was sharing the data slides and then everyone was saying things that just were factually inaccurate based on the data presented? And I was like, well, no, like, actually, that's the exact opposite of what's true. I
Wait,
feel like,
what were they saying?
we have trouble reading bar graphs. That said, like, I'm surprised that the numbers are as high as they are. I imagine that 3 weeks from now, after everyone has had at least 3 more observations with rubric feedback and feedback on their individual IPPs, with group IPPs, I would be shocked if those numbers don't change. I'd just be absolutely shocked.
So as far as like the teachers that you coach, were there any things that were like super concerning from this week based off the observations? Like when you're looking at the scorecard data for just this week, and like thinking about the observations, like were there any like red flags or anything that you're like, this is an urgent concern?
That the teacher said?
No, not the teacher said, take the survey out of it, just like as far as their performance on the math lessons and like delivering high quality 2 or higher lessons, were there any concerns?
No. My teachers haven't taught yet. Bianca.
This is for
Video
last week,
again,
for
it's
last
just
week.
her.
Oh,
Already-
no.
So this scorecard reflects what happened last week. So my question is like, what are the concerns based off teacher performance last week?
Do I have any concerns?
Yes,
From what I saw last week based off this?
yes,
Okay, now I understand the question.
sorry.
guess the only one would be the one around the maximize the math, the difference between 80 and 85. Cause I think some of my teachers were at 80. But that clearly makes a significant difference because 80 across the average does not make it 85, so that would be the only thing.
I think I'm most concerned by the number of teachers who are still scoring a 1. I think specifically in first grade, it feels like I'm playing whack-a-mole, where I'm identifying one gap that teachers are now clear on, and then something else pops up. Either the nuance of the curriculum, where we're now into a number stories unit, which is just a different type of unit than the other ones. But first grade, I feel like is my grade where I'm like, oh my god, like you literally need to see every single thing modeled, and even when I ask you, like, the plan before the model, for whatever reason, is not translating into what needs to happen. So that's my most frustrating, is like, I saw Williams did an awesome job hunting and charting for strategies, but then she didn't prompt kids to retell, didn't prompt kids to finish the story. Like, there are just other key parts that are missing there, which is just different. And that's just a different expectation than what needs to happen at the beginning of the year when it's a different game intro lesson. So not anyone's fault, it's just like my biggest thing is I gotta figure out how to get them all proficient.
Can we spend a little bit of time actually talking grade level by grade level in
Yes.
person and just go into what then, like, because I think like, yeah, I almost want like a poster of it, right? So when it comes to leader moves, there's like email feedback, individual conversations, see it, name it, do it, IPP. There's also like leveraging other high-performing teachers to support teachers who are struggling. So I just want to go through and go, what would it take over the course of what would it take for next week everyone to score a 2 with the exception of Braga and Dixon? Because I think of Braga and Dixon as the folks where I'm like, I feel like they should be scoring 2s by Thanksgiving. I think everyone else should be scoring 2s now.
So do you wanna go by grade level?
Can you, yes. So kindergarten, we have Woods, Robinson, and then we have ones for Tucker and Anderson. Tell us a little bit, Dixie, about, tell us like what your overall, like, what do you think it would take to get Tucker and Anderson to a 2 by next week's observation?
I didn't see Anderson's that were scored before. But Tucker, she just needs to she needs to create the VA. Like, she needs to actually solicit the points and list them in CPA order. So I don't know about Anderson. The last time I was in her room, she got it too. So you were part of that. What did she miss?
I can look back at the tracker.
But yeah, there was nothing that was like,
So what you're saying is if Tucker effectively used the VA, she would be scoring a 2.
yeah, there's nothing else that is like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Because for them, that is the work. They always get to the game to play. That's never been an issue for them. It's what is the work that needs to happen before they get there.
So Anderson, we didn't list an action step for her, but it says did not do the turn and talk, so she could not pull out kid strategies. Work time of the game was not productive because they did not model the game. Heads down while talking. So.
In my mind, so Tucker's a quick fix. Like Anderson, the problem is the exact thing that she's struggling with is the exact thing that she also missed on Friday PD. So I feel like, and I think that like, I think my question for you with Kinder, because you had Maddie and Aaliyah and Gabby and Kate who all missed that PD, so 50% of the team, is how can you follow up with them to make sure they know what they have to do? Because it sounds like that, like with the Tucker thing's a one-off, but like everyone else, they just need to know what happened to PD. I don't know if you share the PD with them and then say you're gonna like do a quick, like I want to see you practice your model, or say like, hey Woods, you were at the PD, you wanna watch them? I'm not sure, but I feel like the key lever in Kinder is they need to know the material from PD and then be ready to execute on it. So how can you get them that?
That's what they would have gotten in their 03, so I have to rethink about that because now I'm P and them all together. But that's just Gabby, that's not Robinson.
No, you're right.
Right. So, right, I just need to look back with Gabby.
I mean, I haven't gotten to see Robinson do math? Do you think that Robinson does a good job of hunting for, does she already do the thing that we train staff on PD?
Yes, the thing that Kinder messes up the most is charting them in CPA order. That was their action step. They get it, they hear it, but it's not in CPA order, and they have to chart them in CPA order.
What are your thoughts on that as well, Ms. Roswell?
So I've seen only 2, maybe 3 Kinder lessons. And the ones that I saw, I did not see them model reading.
12, 9,
So I saw
10.
Tucker's room during the visit, and then I saw another Kinder one a while back, and then another Kinder one during the first visit. So I feel like I have limited information, but we could look at the action steps. That might help us like gain clarity on what they need to do. So I just read you Anderson's, Tucker's the VA, and didn't do consolidated learning. Kinder. Last time we saw Woods, VA was created advanced, but wasn't, this was 2 weeks ago, but was not completed before scholars began to work independently. Strategies to account were not elicited from scholars. Yes, it sounds like VA is the thing. Gabby uses her own access to math.
For the sake of time, we can probably move on, but we know that, I'd like, Dixie, can you invite me to, when you're gonna observe Anderson's math next week, because I'd love to join for that one.
You can invite me to, if I can go, I will make it.
So you want me to do it on Wednesday?
Just do it whenever you can, and I'll try to make it. I think sometimes move some things around, so.
Can you share for your Schulze?
Yeah, so second and third, I'm not worried about. They're consistently hitting 2. There's some things that are gaps between 4 and 3, which is around the pacing, but basically Goody right there, really the whole first grade, I can't consistently predict they're gonna get a 2. I really think the biggest thing that I need to do is 1, literally jump into practice as soon as possible in my IPP to make us practice every single part of the intro from beginning to end, because anything I take for granted, I see messed up. And then I think second, I just specifically for first grade need to look ahead before the next week and identify tricky lessons, and then just set up like 7:45 meetings with them to be like, hey guys, here's this note in this lesson. I know you don't understand it. Here's what it means, because they're just struggling. Like they have to practice everything. They're not interpreting it. They don't have like an underlying mentality around it, which is not okay. They don't have any informed intuition, and they need to help it build it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what needs to happen. And I was gonna say model, but I don't even think it's modeling, because I think it's like you need to be able to get up there and do it. So we need to like practice it together first. So I put a note that I'm gonna do that for next week.
First grade, you're feeling like not very good about. Second grade, Karen and Meg feel good about it. Third grade feel good about it.
They got a ways to go to get to a 3, but definitely I feel
What
good
about
about them
Kate's maximized
consistently
math?
too. So it's interesting because you were in there the last time.
Every kid was very excitedly working with a partner.
In the second
Harvard.
cohort too?
In Harvard.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right,
right,
that's right.
yeah, I'm gonna swing back to
Which
it
is
today,
interesting, yeah.
Yay!
So it was, we've had some success.
She's just,
Okay.
she's not happy about it.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
very unhappy about kids doing, it seems
Everything
fine.
that's right, yeah.
All right, I agree. Okay, so.
You guys are working very well with all of your
Yeah,
partners.
Exactly.
I love all of the representations, it's just crazy. So, yeah.
Okay.
How about for Stevenson and Miller? 'Cause,
I gotta do this.
what were the scores?
Stevenson and
What do you need? I
Miller.
gotta do this math.
The maximizing math is, with the exception of Miller, maximizing.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about them and some of that.
Stevenson's maximizing math is great.
Put a note real quick so I don't forget.
They're both killing the pacing. The what to do when they don't have the answer, that is what we resolved on Friday.
Well,
But
in terms of overall scores, what were their last scores?
the,
1, 2, or 3?
both of them got a 1.
So in my mind, we will know that we are successful next week if all teachers are scoring a 2 outside of Dixon and Bracon. So I think like the question, Dixie and Schulze, for you guys to think on is then like whether it's that 7:45 meeting, whether it's something else, just like what are the actions to take to get our teachers ready to be scoring 2s? Because we've got to like we have too many teachers at once for things that they actually could improve on right away with the right feedback.
Wait, so So did we have a thing for them to work on?
For second grade?
For
No.
second
What
grade.
is it for second grade, Dixie?
They have the same actions that both second grade, they're all the second grade get, but how to respond when they don't have the right answer.
Okay.
Cause they're not getting a separate maximize and maximum, right? I'm just curious, say this is where you are, this is where you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
So I think the action step is what, though, I think I don't, like for Justin, I wrote, jump into practice during a computer array, I'm trying to figure
What's
out.
my action
Yes,
step?
yes, yes, yes.
To respond to them. I need to make sure Gabby gets the PD information from Friday.
And then for second grade? For Stevenson and Miller?
Score their videos from Thursday. To see if the implementation from this week's PD is there.
So the video is Thursday, but then the PD was Friday, so it probably would be there. Right?
This Thursday, I haven't observed them yet.
Oh, okay, got it. Are we feeling good about that, or is there anything else you wanna add?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. We're over time. But I think what we just did this last one would be helpful to do next time as well, instead of just like jumping right into like, let's go grade level by grade level. How are each of these teachers? What are the bright spots? What are the concerns? I think that may help us save time next time.
So you want me to come with those answers?
I think this agenda is maybe a little backwards. I think we start with next steps from last time, then we dive into teacher data. I think we go right into the
Okay.
scorecard.
And then we plan.
Then I'd like us to hit quiz data and do the win plan last.
Okay.
Because what we do in like, I'm rethinking everything we talked about with the win plan when I actually look at these numbers. And so
Okay.
I think we need to start with data and then dive into actions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to leave in the next 10 minutes to go to my O3. However, there's two things I still want to talk to you guys about if you have another like even 5 minutes.
Sure.
The first thing is, I talked to the folks at PBA and they're open to having you all come visit and see some 3rd and 4th grade math. So ideally this would happen before Thanksgiving break. Is that something that you are still interested in and would like to do?
Us go or the teachers go?
You and Justin?
I don't have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Does the 18th or 19th work? So that's the week of the site visit, which is the 20th. So 18th is Monday, 19th is Tuesday, Wednesday is site visit. I talked to Stina, she said it'd be better to go in the afternoon because you can see 4th grade and 3rd grade back to back, starting at like 1:15.
19?
19th. Does that work for you? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll send invites, and put them on your calendar so you get so that they're there. And we can go and see, and hopefully share some best practices. The other thing is this site visit schedule draft. I made this as a draft after I put together the information around the, because one of the things that we said we wanted to do is have invites on the calendar sooner.